and gentlemen and fellow panelists today, I'm very pleased to meet all of you today for the International Mice Showcase 2.0. Congratulations to Raghav Khosla from Exhibition Showcase and his team for another great event. So, the last few weeks have been buzzing with activities as trade fairs, events, and travel have resumed again. And the joy of walking on the exhibition floors and experiencing face to face interactions is unmatched. And the way things look at the moment, our aligned industries and economy will recover sooner.
Is all. Only we two. Yeah, there.
Is that the government support for associations participating in event meets will be super pertinent. And that is a topic for our panel discussion today. And I'm very happy to introduce my fellow panelist today, Mr. Jairaj Srinivas, Director General Confederation of Indian MSME in ESDM and IT. Welcome, Mr. Jairaj Srinivas. Mr. Gunashekaran, Consultant, Ministry of Commerce and Industries, Government of India. Welcome, good morning, Mr. Gunashekaran. Mr. Asif Iqbal, President, Indian Economic Trade Organization, IETO, who's joined us from Paris very early morning. And then we have Mr. Rajneesh Goenka, Chairman, MSME Development Forum. So, I would ask the panelists to kindly briefly introduce yourself before we go to the round of our panel. So over to you, Mr.
Actually, I joined ITBO in 1992 and got superannuated in 2018. So I was the general manager looking after the entire district fair and also the overseas events. And I led the delegations to various destinations and also the in charge of organizing the trade fair in Delhi, which everybody knows. So that was a big challenge. And then there were a lot of B2B events like Ahar and Leather Fair, Textile. There are many events which ITPO organizes. So I was the general manager in charge of all the domestic fairs and the overseas fairs, wherever the India participates, especially organized by ITP. Now, after 2018, my superannuation, I joined the Ministry of Commerce for this India's participation in Expo 2020 to be held at Dubai, which is getting inaugurated tomorrow. So the Commerce Ministry is already there. Then there are the Expo has announced that there are around 192 countries are taking part in this exhibition. Then they have assured around 25 million visitors for this event. At this pandemic, I don't know how they're going to reach that. Then we are looking for the very good India's participation, because India's participation not only the tourism in mind but the business in mind, keeping a lot of sessions, a lot of we made a kind of a revolving participation from Indian the state governments, the ministries, and then the big corporates. So almost everyone is there, and then that is the thing. Now, I'm very happy to talk about this government support for all the events in India. That is why I'm here. Thank you for inviting me.
Mr. Gunashekaran, you mentioned that you have about 192 countries participating in Expo Dubai. How do you think that events and exhibitions are important to revive economy post-pandemic? And what importance do you put to face-to-face interactions? Before I come to Mr. Iqbal, I would be happy to hear your very first.
I have to say, the virtual is definitely not an alternative. It can only be a supplementary exercise. because all these big business dealings, unless they reach to face and physically, and I don't think it will be done. Even it's not like a small B2C. A consumer buys a piece of item for his own consumption, but this is a business dealings, and the entire business transactions takes place after a lot of scrutiny. So virtual can only be an alternative. I mean, the supplementary activity, comparing the physical. Physical will always be there, and it has to be there. And the pandemic is really hit hard, but we are successfully coming back. So I'm really happy to it.
Okay, thank you very much. So over to you, Mr. Asif Iqbal, President, Indian Economic Trade Organization. I would request you to kindly introduce yourself briefly for the sake of the audience. And then also, please, from your point of view, how do you see exhibitions and events an economic booster and also very pertinent for revival of economy after post-pandemic era?
Thank you so much, Sonia. And it is indeed a matter of coincidence for me that I am already in Paris as a part of a delegation. And just before this, 2 weeks ago, we were in Armenia. And let me just start off. I'm the president of the Indian Economic Trade Organization. We are a think tank policy advocacy group focusing on bridging the gaps between different companies that need to export, Indian companies that need to work abroad. We have offices in almost 29 countries and with the local coordination partners in different countries. And that's how we were able to set up the delegation of the Federation of Indian Exporters in Armenia 2 weeks back. We had around 12 companies participating. It was the first, one of the first few, delegations, exhibitions that we organized just after the COVID. Before this also, during the COVID time, we did have a few delegations. We went alongside the foreign minister to some African countries. We were in Namibia, we were in Zimbabwe, we were in Tunisia just before the presidential coup took over. So we were there in the 2021, most of these countries, and we understood that Indian embassies outside are doing quite a bit to support whatever they can during the times of COVID. In fact, in Zimbabwe, we had the pleasure of organizing this at the Indian Embassy, the India House in Harare, where the Indian ambassador gave us all the support. We did in Armenia again. We had the Indian ambassador coming and helping us by getting in the right kind of marketing support and new companies to meet up and B2B meetings to happen. The government is doing its bit, and from our point of view, and the organizations that are doing delegations and exhibitions, it is up to us to strengthen our partnerships in those countries and not 100% depending on our government side, because the marketing development can happen with strong partners on the other side in those particular countries. And this is something that we are focusing upon. We are strengthening our base with various institutions in that part of the world. For example, in Paris, we have a week conference on the 2nd of October on the time of Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti. It is going to be called the Peace for Economy Conference, and how peace can contribute to the economic the growth between countries. And with the current geopolitical situation that is happening all over the world, including in Afghanistan, we are trying to look at economy and economic growth from different angles, and peace is one of the angles that we are doing. So this is how we are trying to bridge gaps, not conventionally doing from the industry point of view, but also from various other human behavioral aspects that can set up and successfully help our delegates. Immediately after Dubai, we are going back to, after Paris, we are going to Dubai for the inauguration of the World Expo. We have got a few delegates and companies that are participating. We, from our organization, we are hosting two presidents, the president of Zambia and the president of Sierra Leone, who are coming to Dubai. And we are setting up the India-Sierra Leone partnerships in Dubai, because we don't have the mission of Sierra Leone in India now. And we are working towards strengthening this partnership between the two countries and helping them to set up their mission in India as soon as possible. But there is a tremendous interest from the Indian side in Sierra Leone and companies working there. We already have our mission in Freetown in Sierra Leone, but there needs to be the mission of Sierra Leone in India, and we are working towards that. And the Indian government is supporting us very well. The marketing development assistance programs of the Ministry of Commerce are giving out the necessary compensations and the reimbursements for companies. But as I mentioned initially, we need to coordinate with our partners outside and strengthen those partnerships, and then use the marketing development assistance that can enable our companies to start generating business. And based on that, there are various other meetings that are lined up in the next 2 years, and our calendars are completely set up, and we're looking forward to see how our organization can support exporters and to enable these dialogues for them.
Perfect. I mean, it sounds very, very impressive with what activities are lined up for your stay in Paris. And I think the Indian trade fair industry and the professionals can be only enthused by the enthusiasm which you have actually given us today morning. So, Mr. Iqbal, you mentioned about the close cooperation between the government and the export-oriented associations as well.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Gunashekharan, maybe you can talk about how these nodal agencies can support, all these industry associations which come under the Ministry of Commerce to also promote, again, events and exhibition industry as the primary tool or as the one of the most important tools to revive economy as well. Over to you, Mr.
Yeah. See, the government, to support the agency, first of all, the Ministry of Commerce. I mean, there are many ministries giving the subsidies. I mean, even the MSME is doing something, the NSIC, and other textile ministry also have their own grants. But when it comes to the Ministry of Commerce, the Ministry of Commerce enrolled almost around 20 plus organizations for considering the market access initiative scheme. There are two schemes in the industry for supporting the exhibitions. One is that market access initiative, that is MAI scheme. The other one was the market development assistance, that is MDA scheme. Now it has been merged with the MAI, so it's not separate scheme. Now there is one more, which is mainly for the infrastructure, that is TIES, trade infrastructure for export development. There's a scheme there. So that is for mainly for the assistance of setting up the infrastructure, those who are doing the export development activity. Now comes to the market access initiative scheme. So this scheme, the government provides you an assistance. Mainly, it's like a 65% from the ministry side and 35% have to be borne by the organizer. So, the ministry has, there's a limitation on the fund availability. So, around the year, they assess around 2-3 times together. There is a subcommittee meeting there. There is a Empower committee meeting there, and before subcommittee, every association who is organizing the events, they have to submit their proposals to the ministry. Ministry has the different departments. Depends on the regions. Like we have a separate region for NAFTA, WANA, then Asian. So every desk used to assess the proposal and also take the feedback from the embassies in that country. So with that, then they submit the recommendation to the subcommittee. And then the subcommittee take a presentation from every organizer. And there is a big presentation happens. Then what are all the events can be given subsidy. And this subsidy is given to them on 50% upfront, and then the rest of the 50% once the event is over on submission of entire reports. So how the exhibitors get benefit out of this scheme, which I would like to elaborate it. The MAA scheme, basically suppose an ITPO is organizing an event. ITPO prepares a budget, and that budget they seek the support. Support is given to only on few heads, not on all the heads. So few heads means that the stall construction cost, then the publicity we give. As I said, MDA has been merged into MAI. So there one gets the travel support also. We give the support for the interpreters. So these are all the few headlines. The expenditures can be considered for subsidy. So the rest of the expenditures they have to bear. Overall budget is presented to the ministry, then the ministry decides what kind of a grant, how much it should be done. And sometimes the ministry also considers putting together 2-3 associations for one event. See, again, the very big important thing is that to consider subsidy, ministry expects at least around 50 exhibitors to go for an event. You can't expect a grant for a 5 people or a 10 people or a 15 people, something like that. So for that reason, the ministry always clubs the associations, those who are in the commodity-wise, textile means then EPCH is there, and then if ITBO also there, then there are, they try to combine the agency and offer the grant. So the ministry, the amount is also very limited with the ministry. So at the moment, around 200 crores have been allotted for this for a year. So they'll have to look after the activity for the entire year. And again, organizing, supporting the event abroad, and definitely a government subsidy will definitely assist the exporters to explore the possibility of exporting things, because without the subsidy, it is like burning your hand, without understanding the market. And you might be doing a lot of research or also taking the advice of the embassy. But a real benefit, whether it's going to come back to you or not, which you really don't know. So the subsidy is going to come and play a major role, which assisting the exporters to explore the possibility. So they really get a good response, continue with it. And these the subsidies are all mainly for around one-time participation or two-time participation on one particular event, and not more than that. So one cannot take a subsidy, continue to go there for around 3 times or 4 times like that, and they'll have to be on their own. Initial subsidy, which helps them to really explore the market and then explore the product. And that is how the MAI subsidy works out. Then when I was talking about trade infrastructure for export development, that TIES grant, that is helped for setting up the infrastructure, whether any export association, EPCs or government body wants to set up some kind of infrastructure, so they can ask for it. This grant earlier used to be called as ASIDE grant. So that was mainly given to the state governments through central agencies. But now it is called a TIES, Trade Info for Export Development. The name is changed and certain conditions have been changed. So the central agency, that is the government department, has to be the major counterpart for this kind of an activity.
No, thank you. Thank you for detailing out actually all the intricacies of how the government is working very closely with of course, the export promotion councils and of course with the industry. Of course, we've all witnessed big, huge, very impressive India pavilions abroad, and of course, Expo Dubai is one more example. And I only see it as a positive ray of hope for the revival of the industry. Now, amongst all the members of the export promotion councils, we also have the MSMEs. So the MSME sector in India is growing and is a robust sector. So, Mr. Jairaj, question to you. How can we encourage more participation from the MSMEs in this particular exhibition and event sector? And of course, also work very closely with the government departments to take the subsidy and the assistance, which of course the government departments are offering, and look at their growth potential as well. So over to you, Mr. Jairaj, if you could also very quickly.
Yeah, I'm Jairaj. Actually, I'm the Director General and the Founder Chairman of Confederation of Indian MSME in ESDM and IT. We just instituted about a year and a half, and we have grown across the country. We are closely working with Madhya Pradesh and UP government and Gujarat and Maharashtra government. Basically, we have started this organization to see that MSME sector in MSME in electronic sector, they have visibility across the country. Today, I was just to begin with, morning itself, I was going through the document which Government of India has called MAD, Market Development Assistant, MDA policy. See, what I feel that, the policy is good, okay, the government has its own reservation, it has got its own constraint to extend the subsidies. But looking at the possibilities of MSME being participating in the global or the national events, the problem is that most of the MSMEs in this country, particularly in the electronic sector, which amounts to be about 62.5 lakh MSMEs there, most of them are working with a very thin margin, and their market promotion funds are very, very low. And that is the reason in most of the places where the exhibitions happen, even Sonia also organized various events and all, where we found that MSME's participation is almost either very minimal or nil. So this is only because when they place a booth in an exhibition, then they require a space. The space is, there is a space cost. Then they have to transport their exhibits from a location to the location of the exhibition, and they will have to at least minimum 4 manpower. Suppose the exhibition is there for 3 days, so 4 into 3, 12 manpower is used for 3 days. That also is the cost, and travel cost and all. So as it is, in electronic sector, most of the out of the 62.5 lakh MSMEs available in this segment, 80% of them are running below 50 crore turnover. So they can't afford it. So what I feel that, the government of India should allocate certain funds for MSME participation, not only for the electronic sector, other sectors also. A fixed amount should be extended and given it to the event organizer, because there is a lot of administrative work an exhibitor has to do that before participating in the exhibition. So, and because exhibition organizers basically, they have database for almost all the companies, and they can reach out to those exhibitors and extend those booths for let the government create a pavilion or whatever, the deal with the discussion between the exhibitor and the government happens. So let them create a booth. All MSMEs should be placed in that, and MSMEs should be invited rather than asking them to participate, because the participation is very, very difficult. Today, Mr. Asif also knows that this issue with during the at least for last 5 quarters, the MSME has suffered a lot, and they don't have any funds today. I have an organization who's working in Ghaziabad, manufacturing the accessories for the big companies like laptops and the mobile phones and all. He manufactured the branded one, and the owner of the particular company, maybe Samsung or Dell or HP or whatever, they procure their product, and it is already branded. The mold is made with the brand. If it is HP is ordering, HP will give that. Okay, so many things have, and there is hardly any margin left over with them. They hardly work with 5 to 6% margin. That margin also they take a lot of time. Minimum, the government says 90 days. It never happened. 90 days the payment gets. So to ensure that the large participation of MSME in the exhibitions and the seminars and all, whatever government want to give, it should be completely handed over into the event organizer. And the associations basically I've been watching, for various years, excepting Vibrant Gujarat in this country, many of the events are, the footfalls are very low. I think Sonia knows about this. This particular Vibrant Gujarat, except that IT.com, which started way back in 1998, it has shifted from IT.com to IT.biz, then IT.in. Now it has become IT.out. And, government has started some business, Bangalore, some summit, some business technology summit, BT summit or something. The government spent huge money. The state government of Karnataka, the government of India, various other agencies, they spend a lot of money. But what we feel is that most of the time, only the crowd, which suppose I am an industry and I want to place a booth, I want the real audience to see my product. But most of the time it happens is, the student crowds comes. So the MSMEs say, why should I go and waste my time? They can better do some other business. So this is what my suggestion is, that to invite more rather than asking them to participate, the exhibition organizer should invite the MSME, sell it within your own data. It's available, all the exhibition event organizers, they have the data. Specific data are available with them. They can reach out, unbiased rather. It's not that it should not be biased on, unbiased, and encourage. And the government of India and other agencies who are funding and giving subsidies and all, they should extend the subsidy to the event organizer, which benefits them. And when we talk about association, yes, the event organizer can always interact with association and look when they shortlist and send the invite. When you do this, whatever it's happening, earlier it was happening like that, the whether market development assistant or any other assistant, it used to come to the association, and association also, they will not give 100% whatever subsidies extended, rather 50% of the subsidies is extended to the MSME sector or any other participant.
Sure.
And in that, once again, the people will run behind the association of secretariat for the refund of that money and all, which is a tedious process. And once again, a small company can't afford to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Jairaj. I think you made some valid points, and more important, from the purpose of ease of doing business. So I think we'll just have to make sure, handhold these MSMEs as well. So I would say associations can really act as agents of growth and change by way of being associated with these industry forums. I mean, the exhibitions and the events. And maybe we can devise some concrete ways to make this happen in a more intentional and systematic manner. So maybe Mr. Asif Iqbal, if you could just touch upon the points which were made by Mr. Jairaj as to how do we make the whole process and encourage the MSMEs to participate in a more systematic manner. And then I will go to Mr. Gunashekharan to also comment on some of the concerns of Mr. Jairaj. But over to you, Mr. Asif.
Thank you, Sonia and Jairaj for those comments, which are very much, pertinent to what we see. A lot of MSMEs are very much eager to work. And we notice that many companies outside, especially in Europe and Eurasian region, they are glad to associate with MSMEs because they know MSMEs have a quick decision-making process. And, the interactions with them at the highest level is much more easier, and coordination is much faster. Because they know that very big companies have their own ways of doing things and their own delays and their own deliberate measures to delay decision making. So therefore, MSMEs need to be given that particular support, and almost I think 75% of them are MSMEs. We have a lot of MSMEs who come with us, and we ensure that we make these meetings very focused for them. So we, even before going, we understand their needs, and we actually take a list of a wish list from their side as to what exactly are you looking for, and we coordinate with our partners. We don't take very big delegations. We take not more than 20 to 25 every time, and we ensure that we have focused meetings for them. For example, we are going to Zimbabwe next week on the 15th after Dubai. We are going to Harare, and we have got a good 18-member team, and this is the team that is coming for the third time. out of which 50% of them are coming for the third time, because first time we went, we initiated, second time we went and we initiated the next level of the ministerial and the president's cabinet, and the third time now they're actually going to close, and those countries now they're looking at India's leadership, and they're looking at Indian businesses and the MSMEs to come forward and to actually collaborate. There are various schemes given by those governments also many times, and we are exploring those. We are not just depending on the Indian side, but we are also depending on the side in Africa. A lot of African governments have budgets to entertain investors, to entertain businessmen, and there are subsidies being given by those countries. There are discounts being given by the governments for Indian, investors to come in, Indian MSMEs to come and operate, set up centers of excellence, and we have got a lot of credit lines from the Indian government to these countries. And conventionally, it has always been very mechanical kind of sectors, but now we are looking at new sectors. We are looking at a lot of players, especially we are focusing mainly on South India because we are based in Bangalore. Our secretariat is in Bangalore, so we have many MSMEs coming in from Coimbatore and Chennai and Hyderabad. In fact, our delegation to Africa had only MSMEs from Coimbatore, and Coimbatore is one of the main hubs for manufacturing and production. There are people from the agriculture machinery manufacturing, and there are people from the smaller fruit processing machinery manufacturers who are looking at markets, and they had some very good response in Africa when we took them. Now they are going to close these particular deals with the African side. I think it is very, very important, as I told you, to also coordinate from the other side. What I have seen in most of the associations is their dependence on the Indian side is more. So I think we have to not put all the burden on the Indian side. The Indian government has its own limitations, and the Ministry of Commerce also they are giving. And as Mr. Gunashekaran rightly said, they are giving you 65%, and I think that is a very good sum if you want to really focus and explore these contacts on the other side. And we have to focus more on building our market intelligence on the other side of the border, so that we can really explore and have authentic meetings and visitors. And rightly Mr. Jairaj told that there are exhibitions, there are footfalls. India is a country of 1.2 billion people, and it is very easy for us to just invite people and they just come in, but then the point is they need to be really focused, and they need to be somebody who can deliver, and we have to connect the right kind of sectors to match with each other. And also there is a lot of innovation that needs to go into this, creating these meetings by creating the right topics. So we have a few experts, a few scholars and academia from universities who actually create some content for discussions to take place. So at the end of every delegation, we actually have a summit. We actually have a get-together, a one full day discussion of how things went on and what are the next plans of action. And then we sign MOUs for them, some B2B final discussions which are witnessed by the ambassadors from both sides, from the foreign ministry of that country and the Indian embassy. So every time we do that, and things look successful, and the medium small enterprises have to be given that support. They must be given that that kind of information and publicity as to which are the countries that are opening up. I feel that the countries like Eurasian region and Africa and Southern America, they have a lot of scope for MSMEs to operate. Europe is a bit of a difficulty that I feel because of to begin with, we have the visa issues for Europe, especially the western side, France, Germany, and the developed countries. And two, there are some very stringent conditions for people to do a lot of things, including transportation of your goods and samples, and a lot of cultural barriers that they have. So I think if we are able to focus on certain regions, if Indian manufacturers focus on regions like Eurasia, countries like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Central Asian side, then you have the whole of Africa, then you have the parts of South America. So these three regions, if we can occupy for MSMEs to begin with, we will have a lot of that trust and impetus that can be done. Apart from that, I also noticed that there is a lot of cultural barriers that they find, and if you're able to help them and support and give them some kind of information on the cultural aspects of the other side, it becomes much easier for them to understand protocols as to how the cultural aspects should be. I think we are going on a very right footage, and hopefully 2021 is going to give us a lot of lessons so that we can build up our 3 trillion economy dream of what we are all intending together. Thank you, Sonia.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Iqbal. I think Before we take them abroad, we also need to kind of do a little bit of schooling and training at the domestic grounds as well. So we will have to just ensure that the MSMEs are participating and getting this exposure and training on the domestic front as well when they participate in all these Indian trade fairs, while their associations and export promotion councils so collate their whole training process and then bring them on the global front. And that is something which I would say each trade fair organizer should endeavor to do it. Each trade promotion council, export promotion council, along with the government. I think the intent of the government is obviously positive. They want to help. They want to work very closely with the industry. And we just have to ensure that the right discipline and the right protocol and, of course, the right planning, because planning is always an issue, and if we can put all the planning in place and implement that according to the so-called the time plan, probably
Right.
it will work better. So Mr. Gunashekaran, would you like to also comment from your side as to how can we make
See, I think, Soneji, you have very rightly pointed out the ministry have to offer the subsidy through EPCs or their registered bodies only. It cannot be extended to every association who wants to participate in exhibition or not. And then again, Mr. Jairaj, what he said, that is getting a 50% concession for kind of a participation in trade fairs and all those things. And when I said 65%, this is it has to be built into the budget, and the cost of participation has to come down that much. So that is what the organizers have to charge. So that is how you get 65%. It's not directly you're getting a 65%, and no participation gets the 100% subsidy. So the association, if they want to come through, but I would advise Mr. Jairaj that your association either come through ITPO or through any EPCs, the industry association. Basically, all these associations are non-profit nature. They are only serving to the industry, and those who are registered with the Ministry of Commerce, which I am talking about. There are many other associations which I don't want to comment on that. So the subsidy is mainly focused in an organized manner, and not to give it to an individual exporter, rather than yes, please.
I think you're not taken what I said, that when the subsidies are transferred to the association, the participant will get only 50% of the subsidy, rest other they have to manage with themselves. I never said, I know that about 75% subsidies are extended by Government of India through various processes and all. I've read the policy completely word to word. So what I mentioned that in an association, see, why not you get into this process of either direct beneficiary transfer, or give these funds to the event organizers.
Yeah.
See, as I said, everyone has to come through a certain policy guidelines. Like if ministry giving it to EPCs or ITPO or PO, so you will have to come through that, because they are the event organizer. Nothing goes direct to a company.
Yeah.
Now everything. Earlier it used to be.
Earlier it used to be.
It used to be, but to organize it in a proper way, because the ministry makes it with the association like EPCs and then the ITPO. So they scrutinize all the applications, and again they submit it to the ministry. Ministry also scrutinize what is their membership, whether they have a 12 months membership with the association or not, whether they have the product which they are exporting, whether it has this code with all kinds of patents and things, IEC code, everything. We scrutinize the individual exporters, and of course, as I stated earlier, the fund, the subsidy always goes to the EPC or to government organizations, and where you get your subsidy.
Yeah, I can only encourage Mr. Gunashekaran.
One more point which I want to mention. See, the licenses and the permissions which are there, when you said the need for government to interfere in the event organizing, this permission and licenses, why don't the the government of India or the take care that when the event is announced, along with that these permissions are granted. Otherwise, particularly when there are if we go to Maharashtra, I think how many 18 or I think 33 or 40 permissions are required.
Much better in the meantime, Mr. Jairaj. I think
Yeah.
the ease of doing business, in my opinion, is getting a little better. My only request and urge to all the organizers is to work closely with the EEPCs, with all the industry associations, who will basically facilitate the linkage to the government as well. So we have to encourage the MSMEs, we have to encourage businesses, but if we can create a mechanism where private organizers who are very active, international organizers, and of course entrepreneurs who are basically serving the industry via the tools of the exhibitions and events can work closely with the export promotion councils, can work closely with the industry associations, and have linkages to the government. And as IEIA, we are working closely with the MSME, we are working closely with the DPIIT, and of course the Ministry of Commerce. I can assure you, in the capacity of the President, that we will be working further closely with the government, because we've also realized that as worldwide, especially in Germany, and especially in EU, especially in US and UK, we've realized that exhibitions are definitely propellers of economic growth. In fact, in Germany, you even have exhibition grounds or exhibition facilities, which is basically a model where the state, where the city, the local chamber, and the exhibition organizer, they are a consortium working together as propellers of economic growth. And I think that's a model which we could create in India as well. I think there's a lot to be done in India. There's a huge potential. And I can only suggest, Mr. Jairaj, that we work closely along with Mr. Gunashekaran, along with Mr. Asif Iqbal. Mr. Gunashekaran, you wanted to say something.
I just want to give a small piece of information. Just like Government of India grants, there are state governments also making grants available. So suppose if you are from Bangalore and Government of Karnataka also got the schemes, so you can explore those schemes. That's a small point which I really want to make it. Yeah, please.
Sure. Okay. I think we're coming more or less to the end. We were given 45 minutes for this panel discussion. I would have just one last question to all the panelists. What is your wish list, basically, or maybe one wish? How could government and industry associations, and of course the trade fair exhibition industry, work together? What would be your ideal platform or protocol, or say strategy to make it happen? So first to Mr. Jairaj, followed by Mr. Iqbal and Mr. Gunashekaran.
What I wish is that all the events, whether exhibitions, seminars, or the other things, should be organized only by event management companies. Instead of lot of government have entered into this business of conducting the event, which has failed. As I said in the beginning itself, other than Vibrant Gujarat, everything is free. So government should not interfere in, should not enter into organizing the event. Rather, they should leave it to the event management companies to organize it.
Or let's say the professionals. Okay, over to you, Mr.
Well, I'll talk about from my experience. I think the government should actually support, independent consultants to operate, with the Indian embassies abroad, where the private consultants can actually give them the right kind of feedback and help them to organize in creating market intelligence, rather than depending on the commercial attaches and the salaried employees who really don't go out of their way to build up anything. Whereas the private entities build up the intelligence, they understand the needs of the Indian companies, and they will build the right kind of connections that are needed. So we have already given a proposal to various embassies and also to the Secretary Economic Relations in the Government of India, Ministry of External Affairs, to see how this can be enabled. And we have strongly asked them, like Mr. Jairaj rightly said, the government officials cannot create market intelligence. Market intelligence has to be obtained by the players in the trade, in the field. So I think if we are given the leeway and if they are given the kind of support, then a lot of things can be achieved and market intelligence for Indian buyers can be taken care of.
Perfect. Thank you. Over to you, Mr.
See, my thing is that the government is trying to identify the weak people, like it's purely the micro and the medium enterprises, and try to give them some kind of an assistance if they want to explore the market. And that is, it has to be done through an organized way, and that is how all these mechanism. And if government doesn't have to come into a private player, there is a balance in the market, government player and a private player. Sometimes the private player charges 50,000, 60,000 per stock, whereas when the government starts hardly around 15 to 20,000 rupees. So this way, the pricing mechanism has been stabilized because of the government players as well as private players. So government is doing, identifying the weakness and the benefits, whatever we could really assist, and definitely we are assisting, and people really want it. So that is how we are there. So if the industry wants to take it, whichever the way they want to, definitely we are welcoming them.
Absolutely. I think all the government and the industry has to obviously work very closely. I see a lot of potential. I'm very positive. And on a positive note, Mr. Gunashekharan, what is there to offer in Dubai at the India Pavilion and Expo? Just last words to you, because you're also excited to see how is India showcasing at Expo Dubai 2020, or rather say 2020. Your closing remarks and then.
See, the India Pavilion in Dubai, which is definitely, comparing the earlier editions, this event, we have a revolving participation. Almost 3/4 of the state governments are taking part. Now, the opening, Gujarat has taken for 2 weeks participation. They are there. After the Gujarat, Karnataka is there for 1 week. Then Ladakh is there for 1 week. So it goes on for the 6 months. Okay, so earlier, the participation used to be for 6 months, entire 6 months. But now we are given an opportunity for more and more people to come and showcase. So the same way the ministries are all there, the big corporates, Tata, Adani, Ambani, they're all going to be there. So it's going to be a very good opportunity to showcase the Indian product in the Dubai, Expo Dubai. And the pandemic we are thinking that is almost over, and we believe that it's over. So, and the authorities are taking the entire precautions to inviting people and coming and going without any troublesome. So we look forward to a very big participation. And Indian Pavilion, this is going to be the first time. You might have seen it in the YouTube. We shall have a kind of a projection mapping of the pavilion itself. So one doesn't have to go in. You can see it, all our Indian products by standing outside the pavilion in the evening. So the whole design is made it accordingly. So inside also we have got a separate, main theme pavilion, and also the participation come on the different way. So you go look into the entire themes, go up to the 3rd floor. There are 3 floors, one for the state and one for the ministries and another for the corporate. You go up till end of the top floor. Then while coming back, you will be looking into the entire participation by the state governments, the ministries, and then the corporates. So there are 2 off of it. One is the theme pavilion, another is the participation. So you explore everything. There are commercial stalls also available, eating and some kind of badges and all kinds of novelties and things which are all there. Around 20% of the stock dedicated for the commercial things. So you explore everything, enjoy your India Pavilion participation. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. So on that note, Mera Bharat Mahan, and let's all work together and showcase India on the world map when it comes to exhibitions, events, and industry forums. So have a good day, and please enjoy the rest of the sessions. And thank you, Mr. Iqbal, for joining from Paris. I'm sure you're enjoying your coffee and the croissant. And keep the flag of India high. And gentlemen, thank you very much for a very nice session, and look forward to interacting with you on future forums as well. So thank you, Raghav Khosla and Exhibition Showcase, and enjoy the MICE showcase too.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very